You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Welcome back to Welcome to AAUW. Before the break, we were having a very interesting discussion about women in media, which is an example of one of the topics that we've had at our Libations and Conversations meetings. And for the last segment, we'd like to introduce a new topic to give you an idea what it's like. This topic will be strong women, equal pay. And Bonnie, I think you're going to introduce it.
I will introduce it. I'd just like to explain a little bit about how the Libations works, the Libations and Conversations. And what we typically do is have a little social time, and then it's not so much, nobody gives a program. What we do is we throw some things out there on the topic and to try to encourage discussion among the people that are there that evening. And it's typically, we have anywhere from 12, 15, 20 women that come, and so it makes for some very lively discussion.
They tend to go into small groups and huddles and have conversations. So
right, just exactly. So like I said, we just kind of toss a few things out, so that's what I'm going to do just to get us started. What does it mean to be a strong woman? And is a strong woman someone that can do it all? Someone who can be a leader in her field and industry and be powerful and confident and have all those great attributes, but at the same time is stereotypical woman who's pretty and submissive and demure and caring. Does that make a strong woman? Is a strong woman someone who is strong mentally and physically in adverse situations? Is that someone who's a survivor? Is that what we mean by a strong woman? It's kind of a difficult concept because it can mean so many different things, this strong woman concept. Are women in leadership roles held to a higher or different standard than men in the same roles? Is a woman in leadership supposed to be strong but still nurturing? I mean, what do we think about that? Is that, a woman is supposed to be caring and nurturing, and how can she be a strong leader if she falls into that pattern as well?
Well, having been in corporate America, I have seen some strong women, and it's true that sometimes they have to adopt more of the male characteristics to survive in the political environment of a corporation. So I think being able to achieve that, standing up for your beliefs and your rights and what you know and your position on certain things is important, and but also to be able to do it without trampling on someone else. And that's what I saw a lot in corporate America, was a lot of trampling going on, but not usually by the women.
Right.
So it is a challenge to walk that line.
I think it's expected that you have to do both. I mean, what did we just see? I mean, Hillary Clinton's not even running for president, but when people found out that her daughter is going to have a baby, then what was the question? Can you be president if you're going to be a grandmother?
Yes. They don't ask that of anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, it just...
Yeah, but I mean, that's the type of different, well, and then we get down to our strong women, especially in the corporate world, evaluating using the same measures.
Right.
And that is right, exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the example that I used when I was introducing this topic at our last Libations and Conversations was, it's something that just struck me as so funny. It was a very, very well-known financial magazine, and they had a women's summit that they put together. And it was some very, very well-known and influential women from around the world, and including corporate CEOs and actresses that are very well-known and several other people. And as they introduced each person in this article, and especially in the article that described this women's conference, they would give their name, and then the very next thing was what they were wearing. including how tight their dress was and how high their heels were. and who designed their high heels. And I just find that so comical because I can just imagine if there was a bunch of men at a conference and, they were writing this article and they said, and John Doe was wearing a lovely black Armani suit
Right.
with fabulous shoes and a tie that just knocked you out. So, there are definitely some different standards out there.
Yes.
So, anyway, but then the other thing is, why are assertive men considered strong leaders while strong, assertive women are criticized for having the same characteristics? And one of the examples that's in the news right now is Jill Abramson, who was the New York Times executive editor, who was ousted, and it was said that part of the reason was her brusque leadership style, which from anything I've ever heard about males in the newsroom, they tend to be pretty much that way, the editor with his cigar stomping around the room. But also for pursuing pay equal to what her male predecessor had made. So then we get into not only, the leadership, the style, all those sorts of things, but the pay equity part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think women really, it's very difficult for women because not only do they have to act like a man to get ahead in the corporate world, but then they're penalized almost if they don't maintain certain characteristics of what people think a woman should be like the nurturing and so on and so forth. So you have to be aggressive, but not too aggressive, right? Or you come across as something else. So, yeah, the equal pay issue that came up in the Abramson thing is interesting because there has been a lot of, not just her, but also in the context of, I think it was GM has its first woman CEO in a long time, and she makes far less money than her male predecessor. And so this is an issue that AAUW is really interested in, is pay equity and why this disparity exists. We talked about this topic a few months ago in our group. Equal Pay Day was April 8th this year, and that date just symbolizes how far into the year women need to work in order to earn as much as their male counterparts did the year prior. So I think the figure that's tossed around most often is that as a whole, women are earning 77 cents for every dollar earned by men. And I think that number comes from when you take all working women compared to all working men, that's the number that you come up with. And the numbers are even worse for women of color. African American women earn 67 cents on the dollar compared to all men, and Latina women earn only 58.7 cents on the dollar. So there's a lot of theories about why that disparity exists. One being that women and people of color are concentrated in low-paying jobs. So those are the jobs that they choose. And so, clerical, sales, or service jobs. And so that's why they're making less money. Some of it maybe is attributable to differences in education or experience. We have a member in our group who was a compensation analyst, I guess, for a major tech company. And she did talk about how when they're analyzing compensation for people in a company like that, they do take into account your years of experience. Education. So maybe if you are, even if you are doing the same job, if you have less experience at it, maybe you get paid less. And she kind of viewed those as, legitimate factors, and maybe they are, but that doesn't mean that there's still not a problem out there.
It's interesting that when women are graduating from college, there's more women in college and more women getting bachelor's degrees, that women are still in those lower paying jobs. That seems to be very strange because...
I think my daughter-in-law might be an example of that. She chooses, I think she actually does make quite a bit of money, but she chooses a job where she has a lot of flexibility so she can be home to pick up the kids from school and be with them in the afternoon. So it's also a choice what you want to do, and you're willing to give up certain things to be able to balance it and do the other things that are important to you. So.
But that's an interesting thought, too, because I think we really need more work-life balance for men and women, more flexible schedules, more options for various stages in
Paid
people's
family
lives.
leave.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
I have read some articles where that is suggested as one solution or factor that can help on this pay gap is workplace flexibility, and not just for women but for men too, so that it's not just expected that the woman's going to be the one going part-time to care for her kids, but that it's the norm for women and men, and that in and of itself will balance out that gap over time, you know.
Yeah, I think Scandinavia and some other places in the world are a lot further ahead of than we are in the
Yes.
United States with that type of thing. So.
Right.
Well, that's been a very interesting discussion. I'm sure we could talk much longer about it, but our time is coming to a close here. For your information, our next Libations and Conversations will take place in August, and watch for notices about that in the
We have
Ledger.
one in June.
Pardon me?
We have one in June, yes? June.
June 17th.
Sorry, June 17th. And that is
5:30.
going to be at the Imperial Hotel, 5:30 to 6:30, and members, friends, and interested women are more than welcome to attend. Just drop in, and we'll be greeting you there. If you'd like more information about AAUW Amador and to see our newsletters online, please visit our website, www.aauwamador.org. Thank you for watching. Welcome to AAUW. It's been a pleasure to be here, and good night, and have a very pleasant evening.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.
Jackson Cleaners, home of the noon whistle, specializes in expert dry cleaning and laundry. All cleaning, pressing, and alterations are done on site. If you're in a hurry, items in by 10 will be ready by 4.